The Mandalorian and Grogu is almost here, but what the heck is this movie really even about? Welcome back, everyone. We are here to talk about the new Mandalorian and Grogu trailer. If you didn't know, I recently did a reaction to it over on my other channel, Amanda McKnight Official, which is where all my reaction content goes to. We try to do an upload a day when we can. So if you're ever wondering if I've reacted to something, it's probably over there and you should check it out. And as I was watching it, there is just so much going on in this trailer that I felt it was necessary to come here and break it down for you.
Break it down for me.
I watched this at 0.25 speed, combed through, made some notes, did some research, and then went back through and watched it again with the sound to see what I could figure out. And I think I've mostly figured out the plot of the movie at this point. First of all, it opens up with some X-Wings in the shot. And this immediately made me wonder if this movie has anything to do with Starfighter, or if there'll be any connection to that film, because we know that film is coming. I believe Ryan Gosling has finished his filming for it, so he's wrapped, I think, at least. And yeah, we don't really know too much about it. I know there have been some sneak peeks at things at events, but I haven't seen anything on the World Wide Web for all of us to enjoy yet. So that was something I was wondering about. And I do think that some of this is going to be centered around a kind of New Republic base, I guess. And then there's also obviously some Empire in this movie as well. And of course, some crime syndicates, which I love. We also immediately, or almost immediately, get welcomed back on to the Razor Crest. And this was something I was excited about because I missed the Razor Crest. I missed it. And we're so back, baby. Not that I didn't love the little Naboo spaceship that we had as well for Mandalorian and Grogu. That was cool. But Razor Crest is just so iconic. The film seems to be centered around, you get this, I think from the trailer, everyone probably has picked this up, the idea of Mandalorian going up against the Hutts for some reason. We do see a meeting as well, which appears to be on Hoth or some other ice planet, with a group of Empire-related folks. Later, we get another shot where Din is walking down a hallway. He has a flamethrower and he attacks two stormtroopers that are flanking either side of that doorway. So I think that those might be connected. They look like they're connected, but we'll have to wait and see. We also are introduced to this idea of a new job giver, quest giver, someone who is sending Din out on missions to collect these bounties. And this is Colonel Ward, who is going to be played by Sigourney Weaver in the film. And I have some theories about what kind of role she'll be stepping into and her presence in it. But we do get a shot around the 33-second mark of her giving Din a card. And now from the outline on the card, at first I thought it made me think of C-3PO, and I thought maybe that's a protocol droid. But I think mostly what these cards are for is they're just bounty cards that I don't even know if maybe in season 1, if we saw them, where Din was putting them into anything to kind of get the full information on who he's going after. So I don't think it's really supposed to be an outline of anyone specific, but it did remind me of a protocol droid. Speaking of droids, we do have a scene where we can see droids running around and ships shooting out of these tubes on a base that's on a forest-like planet. And I am wondering if this is the same base that is the Hutt's base that we also get to see from the inside. Now, the reason that I feel that those are connected is because later on, we get another shot with Din having to, after being unmasked, face a sort of albino snake-like creature in a pit that has water in it. And if you look in the background, you will also see a little tunnel with some water coming out of it that kind of matches the aesthetic of the exterior from that other shot. So I am wondering if we are getting both the interior and the exterior here. And if you're wondering how this connects to everything, I have some more information for you. I think essentially what is going on here is that Mando is going to be tasked with a job to go after the Hutts. And after trying to get some information from Hato, which is the gladiatorial fight that we see with Jabba the Hutt's son, I believe is who that is, Hato, also known as Stinky, who's going to be voiced by Jeremy Allen White. That's right, we're getting the man who plays the bear to be in Star Wars and play Jabba's son. This is going to be such a treat. After that gladiatorial fight happens, I figured that Mando is trying to get some information. He gets that information. He's going after the Hutts. And then a very cool character who is a fan favorite, Embo, also appears in this trailer. And if you don't know Embo, he's also a bounty hunter. He has a cool metallic hat. He is a cool saucer-like ship. And he has a cool animal companion that is known as an Anubu named Merrick. And I have to say, he is giving me personally a little bit of the Will and Lying Cat vibes from the pair of them together. Embo has worked for a ton of people. He's also even stood off against freaking Anakin Skywalker. That's right. He fought Anakin Skywalker. He's worked with Boba Fett. He's also worked with Boba Fett doing a mission for Asajj Ventress. So he has a history that I believe is more in the animated universe, which of course I'm not as well versed in, but all I know was I saw him in this trailer and he immediately stood out to me and I thought that guy looks cool. And of course he's voiced by Dave Filoni, so there's that as well. So Embo, I think, is going to be working for the Hutts, and he ends up catching Mando and bringing him to the Hutts. And they unmask him, they threaten Grogu, they throw him in a pit, and somehow I think Grogu escapes. And that's what the swimming shots are on the forest planet. And possibly even when we see Grogu meditating in this trailer, and when we see Grogu with another alien-like creature who's sitting in what looks to be like a rocking chair. He kind of remind me of, I don't know who the character is, but he reminded me of a combination of Zabulba meets like Falkor from Neverending Story. It's not quite the same race as Zabulba, but they just look a little similar to me. But also, neither of those things, just that's the vibe that I got. So I think there will be a portion of this film where we are going to see Mando and Grogu split up, which is also part of why Mando in the trailer is saying things like, you know, he's going to have to figure out how to fend for himself because he's going to live for centuries and I won't be there to help him. Speaking of that, we also see Grogu going off with some Anzellans, and I'm not really sure what will happen there, but I love Anzellans, so I'm here for it, whatever it is. If you don't know this about me, I'm a big Babu Frick fan. Of course, Mando's probably going to have to go back to Mandalore at some point, but I think that's going to happen at the end of the film because he was unmasked. So he will have to go be purified again, but I just don't see Mandalore being a main focus of this film. Although I did think in one of the shots where we're in the cave, it's very quick. It looks like Mando's with the armorer, but I'm not sure if that's who that is. And if that is who that is, was the armorer pulled into a mission or what's going on here? Or are we somewhere else entirely for that part of the film? There's also a lot of action in this trailer, big explosions. At one point, we see a ship kind of careening through what seems to be like a town, and Embo is in front of it and seems to be caught in the explosion, at least from what it looked like when I slowed that down. There's another shot where stormtroopers are going flying up in the air. They're all on a sort of cruiser together going across, and then they just go flying. And we also get this really cool scene with a bar fight gone wrong, is what it looks like. We have a group of characters coming out of an establishment, and one of them, to me, looked like a Mentelian Severip. And then I thought, wait a minute, all of them kind of look like they're pieces in Djarik. And when I looked at it slowed down, if you look in the background, this really feels like what I'm seeing. And so let me know if you agree with me. But it looks like they are, I guess, the Djarik gang. I'm not sure what's going on, but I can't wait to find out. The establishment they're also coming out of, the name of it is a reference to Carl Weathers, which I thought was really, really sweet. The establishment is called Weathers Apollo, and you can see that in the sign above, which is written in Arabesh. And Arabesh is the written form of Galactic Standard. So that is, you know, typically when we see Star Wars language, that's usually what it tends to be, Arabesh. And I just loved that it was a little Easter egg, a little reference to Carl Weathers, which brings me to my point about Sigourney Weaver's character. So if you're wondering, who is Sigourney Weaver's character really? Well, Sigourney Weaver's character, Colonel Ward, seems to be a stand-in for Greef Karga, who of course was played by the late and great Carl Weathers. And I think Colonel Ward is going to be working in a similar way, except instead of it being, you know, the guild that we're with here, Colonel Ward is ex-Rebel Alliance, who is now working to protect the stability of the New Republic. And Sigourney Weaver's character, Colonel Ward, seems to have a very important line in this trailer, which gives away, I would say, the general idea of what this plot is about. It's not just about a hit. It's not just about a bounty. That's not necessarily what this film is about. It is about not a revenge mission, is what Ward says, but preventing a war. So based on some of the Empire implications in the trailer, based on just a variety of clues that I'm picking up on here, it seems like the reason that we're really going after the Hutts is because we are trying to prevent the Empire from rising up again and trying to prevent another war. And that's probably how it ties in to whatever's going on with the Empire. I'm assuming the Hutts are working with them. However, why are we talking about a revenge mission? Well, last time we saw Greef Karga, he offered Mando a place back at the guild, and Mando said, I'm good. And then he gave Mando and Grogu some land, and they were living peacefully. And that was the end of the show, The Mandalorian. And because Carl Weathers died in 2024, we don't really know what else happened to Greef because he's gone now. Carl Weathers is gone, so I assume we're not going to have anyone take up that role. Instead, I think the death of Karga is going to be the inciting incident for this film. It's going to be what pulls Din back in to, in essence, get justice for his friend who perhaps was killed by the Hutts. So it is going to be a personal mission for him, but really what it's about is stopping the Empire and defeating the bad guys, which I love. I personally think this film is going to be something that I'm really going to enjoy. I mean, Grogu has a nitro bassinet in this. How cool is that? So overall, I'm very excited, and I think that there is a lot you can extrapolate from the trailer when we pull it apart. It does feel to me, even though I was a little nervous watching the trailer initially, that there is a pretty strong through line and a lot of fun little adventures that we're going to have along the way on this one big adventure. And that's what happens in the Mandalorian and Grogu official trailer. That's all I have for this one, everybody. Please let me know your thoughts on this trailer down in the comments below. I'll see you down there. And until next time, friends, stay nerdy. Bye! And if you love when I do breakdowns on trailers, you need to check this out.